my brother's wife, while he works himself to death trying to build her a life. The only reason that I can do this is deep down inside I'm so chicken shit.
Seems like there's a whole bunch of this pedophilia stuff going around. Everybody's really messed up over the pedophiles. What's most amazing to me is that somebody's actually out there trying to defend their position. That seems to me to be the silliest thing in the world. Because I'm more of the Carlos Mencia school of reasoning on that. If you don't want everybody to be talking about how bad it is for you to be fucking little kids, then you quit fucking little kids, huh? But, Mel's basket case put up a video, and I put up a video. Roger, the former dispatcher, President Phil Wagner, he put up a video. He attached my video to his video, and there seems to be a whole hellacious debate going on about pedophiles. I generally, as I told you the other night, I generally keep my shenanigans to the adults. You know, when I was younger, the younger women I was around, I was only about 3 to 5 years older than they were. Now that I'm older, I think a 40-year-old's young. But I generally like, there was this night, me and Wayne and Mark, we picked up 3 girls we knew, and I won't name them by name because they're all married now. And we picked them up and took them to a place we had and started drinking tequila, which is always a good move. And we drank tequila for about 2 hours. And there was one I will name. Her name was Kathy. She had to go home. I made her a bet that I could put tequila on her breast so she could hold them up if she lost. At any rate, to make a long story savory, Mark and Wayne, we gave our word, you know, they gave their word to these young ladies that we would have no sexual relations with them overnight. And that we could pretty well do anything if they wanted to do, but we weren't going to, you know, do anything like that. They were pretty well safe to enjoy themselves with the tequila. And they all got their clothes off, sitting there in front of the stereo. And this was back in the days when we had a stereo with a real red light come on whenever it was stereo. Everything else was monaural. And you people don't remember what I did. That means everything was the same. There wasn't no separation in the sound. Separation in America is like right and left. A little known historical fact, the way I recorded was John Brandt was mixing me down. He was taught by the Beatles, and they recorded me and mixed me front to back like they do in London. So that's the technical difficulty. At any rate, back to the story. They got them all with their clothes off. We all got our clothes off. And it was totally dark. I mean, dark as only you can get in the woods in Texas when you're in like a double wide mobile. We had the stereo going, playing the soothing music, you know. Girls drinking tequila and enjoying themselves. And I convinced them. I talked to them at length. I convinced them that they would sit straight up and hold their arms out in such a fashion. And they would say this mantra that I gave them, they would feel spiritual. And when they go, you know. Well, they started doing that. And after a while, 2 of them were feeling spiritual, but the third one, now, like I said, I won't name these girls. One of them, I think it was grandmother. She wasn't spiritual at all. So I figured that spirituality was kind of like electricity. You couldn't really see it, but you could feel it if the tone was right. And just like when you have a conducive agent, that you had to have a conducive agent to make the spirituality come down from where it was at. So I convinced them to let me take some Johnson's baby oil. And you people may not have ever seen this clear, real fine oil. You can almost put it on a gun if you need to. It's really nice oil. And I told them that if they would let me rub this on their breasts, it would probably make them more conducive to feeling the spirit. And they all readily agreed. And so I went ahead and I poured the baby oil over their breasts, you know, and massaged it in so that it would, you know, do the conducive element properly. And they began to mantra again. by and by, they all began to feel the Spirit. So I told them if they would, let me go ahead and need an oil bath, and I began to rub them all down so that the Spirit would come upon them in a better fashion. And the only thing we could see was just the light of this little red stereo light. And two of them were really into the Spirit, if you get my drift. They were really into the Spirit. The third one, her husband was overseas fighting for freedom, and he was good to the core and all that. He'd been over about 8 months, so she was about 8 months, she hadn't been in the Spirit. And by and by, I really got into the Spirit with her, but she made me promise that we, as earlier in the evening, we would have no sexual relations. And I told her, we would only do certain things. Well, I lied. And by and by, what came about. And the other two people I was with, the guys, they were sitting there drinking their beer and their tequila, reminding me that we had given our word and everything. I was very apologetic and everything. The other two girls, upon observing the spirituality that I was in tune to, wanted me to introduce them to the same spirituality. These guys watched while I introduced them to the spiritual side of the baby oil and everything. That was when I was much younger and much stronger than I am now. It was very spiritual. But they were all of age. I saw no good reason to tell her husband about this.